Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, just imagine this for a second. You're in this specialized room, maybe 800 square feet. Servers humming around you, three big monitors right in front. Then, bam, the main lights dim. Everything gets this kind of dramatic, serious feel. Red alert lights start flashing everywhere. It's intense. And then you realize a real-time cyber attack, okay, a simulated one, but sophisticated, has just hit your network. Well, that's basically a day in the life for students using the IBM Cyber Range model at SUNY Fulton-Montgomery Community College, or FMCC. And honestly, it really feels like the future for cybersecurity training. So today, we're going deep into the source material on this exact model. We want to understand how this very hands-on, this live-fire approach is tackling the huge and frankly growing threat of global cybercrime, and how it gets people ready for day one on the job.
And you really have to start with the scale of that threat. It just sets the stage for why these kinds of environments are so necessary now. I mean, the numbers are pretty shocking when you look at them. Just last year, something like 2,400 cyber attacks hit around 340 million people in the U.S. alone. And it's getting worse, fast. Data breaches, they jumped, get this, 72% just between 2021 and 2023. And for the companies caught in the middle, well, the cost is just devastating. The average cost to fix a single data breach is now $4.45 million.
Wow, $4.45 million.
Yeah. I mean, a figure like that can easily bankrupt smaller businesses. It just shows, you can't just learn defense from a textbook anymore. The stakes are way too high.
That number alone, $4.45 million, it really drives home why we need a shift in training. When failure costs millions, the old model of, mostly theory, it just doesn't cut it. And let's break down how these attacks actually happen and where those costs pile up. I mean, look at email. The sources say 94% of companies had email security incidents last year.
94%. That's almost everyone.
Exactly. It's practically universal. And when those emails get compromised, phishing, malware, whatever, businesses lost over $2.9 billion just from email. That doesn't even count ransomware or heading critical infrastructure. And even locally, look at New York. The FBI says cyber attacks cost New Yorkers $777 million in 2023.
Right.
So when you see numbers like that, specific local impacts, colleges, funders, they have to ask, why are we still just drawing diagrams on a whiteboard?
And that's exactly the philosophical shift we're seeing at FMCC.
Yeah.
The leadership there recognized a basic truth. A degree gives you knowledge, sure, but it doesn't automatically give you competence under pressure. Businesses aren't just looking for people who know the terms. They need people with actual cyber combat skills ready to go.
Okay, so bridging that gap.
Right. The gap between knowing the theory and actually doing it effectively when things are going wrong, they needed to go past just teaching facts and deliver what they call live fire experience. It means training people who know what to do when those red lights flash, who could think fast, prioritize, use the tools, almost like muscle memory, not flipping through a manual.
Okay, so let's zoom in on this FMCC IBM cyber range they built. It's not just a fancy classroom, right? It's engineered for that live fire experience. And it started, interestingly, after an instructor saw an IBM range demo up in Cambridge, Massachusetts. They saw the potential, this immersive controlled environment, and thought, that's the way forward. So they worked to replicate it. Built this secure 800 square foot room for real-time training, and they moved fast. It officially opened May 2nd, 2024, and by that fall, students were already in there fighting simulated attacks.
Yeah, the speed is impressive. And the money involved, the investment, it really underscores how vital everyone felt this new approach was. This wasn't just, buying a few new computers. The tech is serious stuff. Designed by IBM, running on specialized Amazon Web Services AWS software. And the funding picture? Well, it shows broad support.
How much are we talking?
Over $800,000 total. There's a big chunk, $350,000 from the SUNY Transformation Fund, then $200,000 from Montgomery County, which New York State matched, plus another $50,000 from the FMCC Foundation, also matched by the state.
So a real joint effort, public, private.
Exactly. It signals this massive shared belief that this kind of hands-on model is critical for the workforce now.
And it's pretty remarkable that a community college is doing this, right? It sort of democratizes access to this really advanced training. You don't necessarily need a 4-year degree track to get these high-demand skills.
That's a great point, bringing it right to the local community.
And you mentioned it's central to their program. For the cybersecurity students, fully half their coursework happens in the cyber range.
50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not an elective or an occasional lab. It's woven right into the core curriculum.
So, okay, if they're spending half their time essentially putting out fires, what specific skills are they mastering? What tools are they getting hands-on with when those screens light up?
They're getting trained on the essential toolkit. really. Things like penetration testing tools, intrusion detection systems, and digital forensic software. But let's unpack that a bit. So penetration testing, they're not just reading about it. They're actively trying to breach their own simulated defenses, learning to think like an attacker, ethical hacking.
Right, finding the weaknesses yourself.
Exactly. And with digital forensics tools, they're learning how to investigate after an incident, how to properly collect evidence, analyze what happened, basically how to manage a digital crime scene, not just prevent it.
That makes sense. But if half the time is in the range, fighting these immediate threats, how do they make sure students still get that deep theoretical understanding? The network architecture, the protocols, the why behind the defense. Are we just creating operators, or are they engineers too?
That's the balancing act, and the sources suggest it's very intentional. The range is where the theory learned and the other 50% of their coursework gets put under pressure, tested immediately. And critically, the training itself is always evolving. They make a point of using the most recent types of cyber attacks using the most recent software.
So it's not static.
Not at all. And this access lets students really grapple with what the sources call deep technologies, skills needed for highly sophisticated tasks.
Okay, and this is where it gets really practical. The specific types of attacks they learn to stop, the ones actually costing businesses millions.
Precisely. They're trained to fight and, importantly, eradicate the main threats hitting companies right now.
Like what, specifically?
Well, things like harmful malware that messes with data, sophisticated social engineering attacks, manipulating people to get access, and crucially, phishing attacks.
Which you said earlier is a huge vector for stealing money and info.
Absolutely. It's one of the most common ways attackers get in and cause major financial damage or steal sensitive data. The range lets them simulate these attacks, even create really targeted, realistic phishing campaigns, but in a safe space.
So by the time a graduate sees a real phishing attempt,
It's not the first time. They've practiced responding. They've developed that reaction time. They leave with both the knowledge and that crucial live fire experience.
and it seems like the market, or at least potential students, are noticing the enrollment numbers you mentioned.
Yeah, quite a jump. The cybersecurity program had 32 applicants in 2023 before the range was fully operational for students. The next year, it jumped to 66.
More than double.
Right. Students clearly see the advantage this kind of training gives them in a very competitive job market.
And the job market itself is desperate for these skills, isn't it?
Undeniably. Right now, estimates suggest over 500,000 open cybersecurity jobs across the country. A huge gap.
500,000 vacancies. Wow.
And looking ahead, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics expects jobs in this field to grow by 32% over the next 10 years.
32% growth.
Which is massive growth. And these are good jobs, too. The median salary is projected around $120,360.
Okay, $120,000 median. That's not just a job. That's a serious career path, especially accessible through a community college. That's potentially life-changing for graduates.
It really is a pathway for economic mobility.
And the impact isn't just on new graduates, right? The range is also set up to help existing businesses. That seems like a smart way to leverage that big investment.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic return. The college can offer customized training that's tailored directly to a specific business's IT setup.
How does that work?
While using advanced virtualization, they can essentially map out a company's network. They can make their training environment look like their network, as the source puts it.
To simulate their specific vulnerabilities.
Exactly. It's not just generic training. They can use this tech, supported by about 40 different software vendors whose tools are used in the lab, to mirror a company's actual systems. Then, they can run simulated attacks against that mirrored environment and train the company's current employees using the actual security tools that company already uses.
Ah, so the staff trains on the exact software they use daily.
Precisely. It's incredibly specific, customized workforce development. It helps companies keep their current teams sharp and effective right now, not just waiting for new hires. That's why those software vendors are involved. They see the value, too.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway here? What does this FMCC IBM model really signify for cybersecurity education?
I think the core significance is that it successfully builds that bridge that was often missing. The bridge between solid academic knowledge and genuine real-world combat readiness. The instructors used to say graduates had a lot of knowledge but no experience. Now they feel confident they're providing both. That combination, that knowledge, plus the live fire experience, seems essential to make sure graduates can actually perform under pressure from day one.
It definitely sounds like a powerful model for closing that critical skills gap. Okay, let's leave our listeners with something to think about. We've established that cyber threats, phishing, malware, social engineering, they're constantly changing, constantly getting more sophisticated. So given that relentless evolution, what kind of ongoing adaptive mechanisms do training facilities like this cyber range need to have in place? How do they ensure they're always preparing defenders for the next wave of attacks, the ones we haven't even seen yet, and not just the threats that are common today? Because really, that need for constant adaptation, that seems like the only true constant in cyber defense.